Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a great war between the ants and the termites. The ants, being much more numerous, had been able to push back the termites and were now closing in on their colony. The termites, feeling desperate, knew that they needed a miracle to win the war. One day, as the termites were huddled together in their underground colony, a skunk happened to wander into their midst. The termites were terrified, as they knew that the skunk could easily destroy their colony. However, the skunk seemed to be oblivious to their presence and simply started sniffing around, looking for food. The termites quickly realized that they had an opportunity to turn the tide of the war. They swarmed the skunk, biting and stinging it all over. The skunk, realizing that it had made a grave mistake, tried to run away, but the termites were too quick for it. Eventually, the skunk fell to the ground, defeated. The termites, feeling triumphant, returned to their colony and celebrated their victory. However, as they were celebrating, they noticed that something was wrong. The skunk had released its signature odor, and it was spreading throughout their colony. The termites realized that they had won the battle, but they had lost the war. The smell was so bad that even the ants, who were on the verge of victory, decided to retreat and let the termites keep their colony. As the days passed, the termites realized the severity of the situation they were in. The smell of the skunk was so strong that it attracted other predators to their colony. Snakes and birds began to circle overhead, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The termites tried everything they could to get rid of the smell, but nothing seemed to work. They burned incense, sprayed perfumes, and even tried to dig a new colony, but nothing helped. As the situation grew more desperate, the termites began to realize that they needed help. One day, a group of ants approached the termite colony. They had heard about the skunk attack and wanted to offer their assistance. The termites were initially skeptical, as they had been at war with the ants for years, but they eventually agreed to hear them out. The ants proposed a plan to neutralize the skunk odor using a combination of vinegar and baking soda. The termites were hesitant, but they were also desperate, so they agreed to try it. The ants worked tirelessly, gathering the ingredients and mixing them together until they had created a powerful solution. Together, the ants and termites spread the mixture throughout the colony, and to their relief, the smell began to dissipate. The predators that had been circling above soon lost interest and moved on to other prey. In the end, the termites and ants had formed an unlikely alliance and had worked together to overcome a common enemy. They realized that sometimes, it's better to put aside their differences and work towards a common goal. And they also learned that when it comes to war, the smallest creatures can sometimes make the biggest impact. Eventually, the ants grew impatient with how long the smell took to dissipate, so they decided to set their sights on a new target, a nearby meadow filled with juicy plants and flowers. They knew that this meadow would provide them with all the food they needed to survive the winter. The ants and termites were still bitter enemies, but they both recognized the importance of resources in times of war. The ants marched towards the meadow, with the termites following close behind. They arrived at the meadow to find that a group of beetles had already claimed it as their own. The ants and termites decided to put their differences aside and work together to defeat the beetles. They came up with a clever plan, in which the ants would distract the beetles by attacking them head-on, while the termites would tunnel underneath the ground and emerge behind the beetles, effectively surrounding them. The plan worked perfectly, and the ants and termites were able to defeat the beetles and claim the meadow for themselves. They divided the resources evenly and went back to their respective colonies, knowing that they had achieved something great by working together. The war between the ants and termites had ended, and while they were still not friends, they knew that there would be other battles in the future, but they also knew that if they worked together, they could achieve anything they set their minds to.